X's. It doesn't secure the knockout, and we see the Simul swap. Out comes the ever-annoying Marshmallow Wigglytuff, aka Niantic's love child. Niantic can continue to buff this Pokemon as many times as they like, but it's helpless when faced with the wrath of Shadow Tentacruel. Welcome back to the channel. It's getting towards the end of the season, and I know some of you are still trying to climb, and this might just be the video for you, as we have an insane 1,100 elo climb in the Open Great League from today's featured battler, Bigpokki. I by no means am trying to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. You might be thinking, how do you climb 1,100 elo? Well, Bigpokki found himself sat at 1,600 elo. Of course, not fantastic. That's because he was trying to run level 40 Pokemon in the Open Master League and getting absolutely clapped. As a keen member of my Discord, which of course is linked down below, if you want to join it, he decided to try and hit Legend only running Shadow Pokemon, and he's currently sat at 2,700 elo, which would be an 1,100 climb. As soon as I saw this team, I was instantly invested in it. It's very similar to the team that I run in the Open Ultra League when I'm getting absolutely clapped running Spice and I need to regain some elo. Water has always been and always will be one of the very finest offensive typings in the game. You just need an anti-grass, anti-electric in the lead. Use a safe switch of one of the water types, bait out the hardest counter, and the second water type is free to sweep the backline. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we see their Nightmare lead. However, a thing I really like about this team setup is Gligar or Gliscor respectively, a double weak to ice, and the two water types in the back resist ice, meaning we've got coverage in the back. Bigpokki fires off the Hydro Cannon, correctly shields up the Drill Run, and out comes Venusaur. Oh baby, Bigpokki has that Hail Mary, Ice Beam coverage, does the opponent respect the damage? They do not get that Venusaur off my screen. Gator able to flip switch, back out comes Dugong, Bigpokki farms up, gonna fire off the Hydro Cannon on the CMP type, and Gator reminding us all why it is a top tier threat in the Great League, almost removing two Pokemon from the field of play. Hashtag no baits on this channel. Bigpokki could come in with either Pokemon here, as Dugong is so low that even Gligar would be able to handle it. The opponent saving two Protect Shields for Skeledirge. They quickly recognise Skeledirge isn't going to be able to get the job done, and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. You will notice that we're running Night Slash and not Aerial Ace on Gligar. So I had a conversation with Bigpokki and asked what is his thought process in running Night Slash. He likes the pacing. If you're going to run Aerial Ace, it's straight 5s. Night Slash is 5-4. So having Night Slash gives you the ability to be a bit more spammier and also gives you coverage into one like Skarmory that would usually completely wall you. The cheaper Night Slash is also able to hit potential electric types for at least neutral rather than the Aerial Ace that would be resisted. That leads me very nicely onto Tentacruel's moveset selection. If you're wondering why we're running Sludge Wave, bang, there it is. Shout out Oxford U for that quote. Most Shadow Tentacruel do run Acid Spray, but having Sludge Wave gives you the ability to nuke stuff like this silly electric fish. Lantern on paper does look like a problematic Pokemon for this team. However, if they're on Spark, Gligar are pretty good into it. If they're on Water Gun, both are back to water Pokemon do very well into it, especially with that Hail Mary Sludge Wave. We send out Gator. Gator gonna respect the incoming Dragon Claw. We then see Bigpokki pivot back out into Gligar. Gligar gonna fire off the Night Slash. This Night Slash should be putting them into Hydro Cannon range. You can see it doesn't do all that much damage, but enough damage for a Shadow Hydro Cannon to get the job done. I believe this cheeky little monkey is actually one counter off the double body slam. However, even if they were doubled up, Gator has the higher attack and would be winning the charge attack priority. Hydro Cannon will be removing Vigoroth from the field of play, and a couple of Shadow Claws is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Gligar into Shadow Gator. Bigpokki actually told me he lost so many leads, which is a credit to his team building. We attempt to catch a Hydro Cannon onto our own Gator. That's the sort of play that I like to go for as well. However, this opponent, very disciplined, hold their energy, fire off the crunch, and then send out Dragonite. Despite this being a resisted move, Shadow on Shadow Crime, Hydro Cannon doesn't look resisted. My God. Holy Dragonite, where is your bulk? If you are going to dive into the wild of running triple Shadow teams, you do need to be quite aggressive. We have a 20% debuff to our defense, meaning if the opportunity should arise to catch a resisted charge move, you really need to go for it. This is another example of where shadows come in advantageous. We might not have that bulk, but we do have a 20% attack buff. We fire off the Night Slash, the opponent petrified of the dig, put up that Protect Shield. Bigpokki then pivots out once again, trying to make the catch, unfortunately unsuccessfully. The opponent's already shown Crunch, however an argument could be made that we shouldn't have shielded the first, as the opponent is going to reach a second, and Crunch does have a 30% chance to lower our defense, meaning if they got the debuff, the next one would do more damage. Out comes Skeledirge Tentacruel, fires off the Scold. Scold will be forcing the opponent's final protection, as we've got so much energy, the opponent is going to be forced to throw. Bigpokki's aggressive playstyle going to come in clutch here, as Gligar is going to have a very clear path to victory. No messing around, go straight for the dig, removing Skeledirge from the field of play. We're going to be able to wing attack farm down Gator, and despite losing lead, we're going to emerge victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Gligar into Poliwrath. Of course, we haven't got Aerial Ace, but the opponent doesn't know that. They say switch into an opposing Shadow Tentacruel. Bigpokki farms the dig bait with the Night Slash. Is Bigpokki the best master baiter in the world? Clearly he is, but he did kill a poor defenseless cat in the process, as every time you master bait, a poor defenseless cat loses its life. The opponent returns the favour, going for a cheeky master baiting session of their own, fire off the Acid Splay. Undeterred, we fire off the dig. Dig secures the knockout. Bigpokki can now have the alignment that he wants. So of course, we're going to be looking to put Tentacruel onto that Poliwrath and Gator, ideally on whatever's in the back. That back Pokemon is revealed to be Sandslash. I personally wouldn't have shielded this, but Bigpokki going all in on Gligar and looking to go once again for a bait. The opponent calls this could get tricky. Fortunately, not only does the opponent invest that Protect Shield, we get the boost. Boosted Night Slash going to land for some heavy neutral damage. The opponent is going to get a full Shadow Claw farm down. However, they've quickly found themselves in Shadow Claw farm down range for our Gator. Shadow and Shadow Claw on Drill Run going to do over half our health, but the opponent won't be able to reach a further move. Out comes Poliwrath. We're going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, force some chip damage, and send out Tentacruels, completely wall all of this energy. No matter what the moveset on this Poliwrath, everything's resisted. Power Up Punch, Dynamic Punch, Icy Wind, Scold, Ice Punch. Unfortunately, Poliwrath, nothing you can do is going to hurt us. Poliwrath does have access to the Quick Move Mud Shot, which would be hitting for super effective, but not known for its damage output. We fire off the Scold, securing the knockout, and the opponent is going to concede the match. Heading into the next battle, we see Gligar into the cheeky little monkey Vigoroth. Clearly, people looking to get some use out of the Vigoroth before it is nerfed into oblivion. Vigoroth has reigned supreme in a lot of theme cups, hence I usually call it the king of the theme cup, but my god is this thing getting nerfed. Counter nerfed, Body Slam nerfed, a Rock Slide nerfed. Vigoroth, am I sorry? No, I'm not, as you ruin every theme cup you're eligible for. It's not often I say this, but shout out Niantic, as theme cups next season are going to certainly look different, without everyone going, oh, we'll select Vigoroth and 2 other Pokemon. Nah, that isn't a strategy anymore. As Bigpokki is running an ABB team, we do eventually pivot into Tentacruel with shield advantage against this silly electric fish. This opponent is on Water Gun. Trainer, this is not a good matchup for you, especially when we're running Sludge Wave. Bigpokki can burn the final Protect Shield, shielding up the Thunderbolt and leave insanely healthy, and that is exactly what he does. If Vigoroth returns, we're still not even in Body Slam range. Of course, Vigoroth does have access to Bulldoze, but since he got Rock Slide, no one runs that. Back out comes Vigoroth. Vigoroth going to be straight in and straight out. Scold picks up that one-hit KO. The opponent's final Pokemon is Mantine. Bigpokki banks some energy, tries to catch an Aerial Ace onto Gligar unsuccessfully. The opponent doesn't commit to the Wing Attack farm down, which is a huge mistake. Bigpokki can just send back out Tentacruel, commit to the Sludge Wave, which we've already shown, forcing the energy, and then Ice Beam him. However, I'm not even sure Aerial Ace is going to knock out from here. Aerial Ace, living up to its nickname as Aerial Ass, doesn't get the knockout. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to reach the Sludge Wave, but Scold still does some decent damage. And at this point, we don't even need to Ice Beam. Hydro Cannon's easily going to knock out. The opponent's still desperately playing it out, essentially wasting your time, my time, and especially Bigpokki's time. Bigpokki does commit to the Ice Beam, which is going to be massive overkill, and we're going to take that game. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Gligar into Hakamoto. Usually a very nice matchup. However, we haven't got Aerial Ace, but of course the opponent doesn't know that, so they instantly pivot into Licky Far Too Thicky. We're opting to stay in. I imagine we fire off the dig, force some chip and dip action, and then send out Tentacruel. If an opponent say switches into a Pokemon you have no immediate response for, It's often nice in chip and dip action, and that looks like what Bigpokki is opting to do. We bank the Night Slash before making the eventual pivot into Tentacruel. Tentacruel can absorb 2 body slams and commit to the full Poison Jab farm down. Bigpokki actually opts to shield 1, keeping Tentacruel as healthy as he possibly can. The opponent is going to reach the Departure move, which is the power, which does do more. The opponent then sends out Hakamoto. I think I personally would have YOLO'd the Sludge Wave here, and I doubt they shield. Oof, there was an opportunity to go nuking. I've run a lot of Alolan Mach in Ultra League, the Shadow variant. Again, much like Tentacruel, people imagine the second move is Acid Spray, and of course I land Sludge Wave after Sludge Wave. It would have been so nice there to land a Hail Mary. But we do manage to force a shield with the second Skull. We then send out Gligar, or again Bigpokki. I'm not sure on this bait. Night Slash goes unshielded. We then send out Gator, able to get a very nice Shadow Claw farm down. If the opponent actually instantly pivoted here, I think they had a pretty good chance to win this battle. However, Gator now going to be able to outpace 2 the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. The first one will be forcing the Protect Shield, and the second will do massive damage. Potentially, the opponent could still look to double up on charge moves. 1 to remove Gator, and 1 to remove Gligar. However, the opponent isn't quite doubled up here. Sky Attack does knock out Gator. We're going to be able to reach the Night Slash, and from this range, Night Slash is going to be all she wrote. GG's. Oh wait, Lickitung's still alive. Luckily, Bigpokki is more dialed in than me. I've honestly done that so many times where I forgot a Pokemon's alive at low health. I put my phone down and I'm like, holy crap, tap, tap, tap. In the next battle, we see Azumarill in the lead. It's a no thank you from Bigpokki and a save switch into Shadow Gator. Despite Gator only hitting for resisted with our charge moves, we're pretty advantageous in this matchup, especially with Protect Shields to hide behind. Bigpokki gonna shield up the play rough. The opponent continues to stay in, so the key to this matchup is throwing a good fast move timing, which is 1, 4, or 7. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Bigpokki did attempt to throw after 7, but unfortunately the game didn't register his tap. The opponent fires off the play rough, then send out Lickitung. I've got no idea why they didn't just come instantly into Lickitung, as there's a very good answer for Gator, as Gator is so effective due to the Shadow Claw, Hydro Cannon spam, and Lickitung being a normal type, of course, does double resist the quick move. The opponent's heavily misaligned the timers. What Bigpokki should be doing here is instantly coming in with Gligar, not allowing the opponent's switch timer to call off. Because of course Azumarill will likely return to the battlefield, and if we would have not let the timer call off, we could have temporarily got Tentacruel switch locked against Azumarill. To be honest, they might still be temporarily switch locked, so we might get off some poison jab damage. The opponent also makes a mistake, not waiting out their own timer. Out comes Skeledirge. Tentacruel now looking primed to sweep. Bigpokki gonna fire off the Scold. Hopefully the opponent looks to call the bait. Unfortunately, they do not. But regardless, this game is going to be signed, sealed, and delivered. We're able to reach the next move on the charge attack priority. Even if the opponent baits, no one cares. They actually full send the Shadow Ball. But regardless, they're still going to get clapped. Scold easily picks up that one-hit KO. We're going to be able to poison jab farm down Azumarill and take that game. My favourite change about Season 20 is actually seeing the switch timer go from a minute to 50 seconds. So it's going to be even more important to be very conscious of the switch timer next season. In the next battle, we see Annihilate in the lead. The opponent save switches into Licky far too thicky. This time, we don't see the chip and dip. We see the pivot into Tentacruel and we shield the first move. If you're going to shield in this matchup, of course, the first one is the correct one to shield. A Scold, much like Crunch, has a 30% chance to get the debuff. Unfortunately, we don't get a debuff, but the opponent doesn't invest the Protect Shield, so Tentacruel is going to be able to get a very nice Poison Jab farm down. Scold and Crunch both have a 30% chance of the debuff, but Crunch debuffs the opponent's defense, whereas Scold debuffs their attack. Back out comes Annihilate, we fire off the first Scold. Unfortunately, we're unable to reach the next Scold, but that's okay. We've still got shield parity and the alignment that we want. We send out Gligar. The question will be, do they have Ice Punch? Both Ice Punch and Shadow Ball are survivable with me, but Ice Punch is a lot better DP due to the fact that it's double super effective. Bigpokki last second invests to Protect Shield, correctly shielding up the Shadow Ball. The opponent shield our dig. We then see the simul swap of Gator into Wigglytuff. Gator usually pretty miserable in this matchup, especially when the opponent has shields to hide behind, but this Wigglytuff has none. We fire off the first Hydro Cannon, reach the next Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. Hydro Cannon will be removing Wigglytuff from the field of play. Back out comes Annihilate, able to get the counter farm down. They're going to need to reach a Shadow Ball to potentially knock us out, but Gligar able to outpace to the Night Slash, and we're able to take that game. According to Bkgpokki, Shadow Ball does around 61.5% of Gligar's HP, so we are very, very close to that range. Ice Punch, definitely the move to look out for, doing a whopping 72.5. In the next battle, we see Dragonite in the lead. Gligar going to go straight for the Night Slash. Shadow Dragonite doing what all Shadow Dragonite users do and invest to Protect Shield. Bigpokki happy to match shields, knowing he's easily going to be able to outpace to the next Night Slash. We actually see him slightly over farm before unleashing the next Night Slash, giving himself a little bit of residual energy should the opponent not wish to 2-shield. The opponent invests both Protect Shields. We see the pivot into Tentacruel. I really like this pivot, as Dragonite is often paired up with what else other than that silly electric fish. Out it comes, and Tentacruel has that equalizer. Hail Mary Sludge Wave Lantern isn't going to appreciate the damage, and we're still outside of Surf range. The opponent still needs to throw a Thunderbolt to secure the knockout. The opponent throws the Surf like a potato, they're going to be sad. The opponent goes for the Surf, look for that Spark farm down. Tentacruel's like, nah, it simply isn't happening, and we get the Simul KO. The opponent doesn't wait out the clock, send back out Dragonite. We send out Gator, able to Shadow Claw farm them all the way down, and out comes Defense Deoxys. We fire off the Hydro Cannon lands for massive damage. We then bank the Hydro Cannon for the road and send out Gligar. That's a nice play, as of course both trainers have no Protect Shields too high behind, and Gator will be winning charge attack priority. Gator re-enters the battlefield, throws the Hydro Cannon, and we're going to emerge victorious. GG's. Heading into the next battle. Come on, surely we get a good lead. Ask and you shall receive, as we see Defense Deoxys. This is actually one matchup where Night Slash is going to be quite nice, as not only is it hit for super effective, it paces quicker than Aerial Ace and also has the chance to get the boost. Bigpokki evidently needs to do some more praying to the RNG gods, as no boost luck is thrown our way. The opponent fires off the Psycho boost. We're going to see Bigpokki fire off the next Night Slash, putting some shield pressure on the opponent. The opponent tanks the damage, then not wanting to get farmed down, send out Azumarill, and my god, Azumarill, do we have one very hard check for you in the form of our Squid. This bulky blue mouse only has access to 3 charge moves, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, and Plague Wrath, and due to our water poison typing, we resist everything. It looks like we saw Bigpokki there overtap, as he looked to fire off the Scald, but it doesn't really matter, as he can tank 2 moves from Azumarill and Poison Jab farm all the way down and leave at 100 energy. We do have to be mindful Defense Deoxys does have a charge move banked. It looks like Bigpokki actually looking to farm this thing all the way down and start debuffing whatever's in the back. Out comes Annihilate. Annihilate going to be instantly greeted with the Scald this time. We are going to get off both. The first one does land. The second one might not even force a shield, as the opponent probably thinks we're going to Acid Spray bait him. The opponent actually does invest that protection. We send back out Gligar, just looking to force the energy. If this Night Slash knocks us out, which it actually doesn't, I was going to say, as soon as we show him Gator, the opponent likely instantly concede the match. However, we withstand the damage, fire off the Night Slash, picking up the knockout, and of course getting the unnecessary boost. Why is it always like that? You always get the boost when you don't need it, more as a Super Saiyan flex in the endgame. In the next battle, we see the absolute dream lead. Gligar a complete water charger bug, and essentially where we want to see it is our back 2 Pokemon don't fancy the work. The opponent say switches into Shadow Quag, interestingly on Mud Bomb. I think Aqua Tail Stone Edge is the more common moveset and a bit more flexible. However, this opponent is running Mud Bomb. Bigpokki farms up, throws the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. The opponent now send out Wigglytuff, and my god, this is going to be RPS for the win. But as the opponent's running Wigglytuff, I'm so happy it's happened to him. Am I sorry? No, I'm not sorry, trainer. If you're going to run Wigglytuff, trying to RPS your way through the Great League, you deserve to fall victim of the RPS treatment. The opponent's still looking to play it out. However, down a Protect Shield, this is just unwinnable. Of course, the opponent likely shield this Charger Bug, knowing it's the only way of getting rid of Tentacruel. However, let's be completely real here. Logically, the opponent has 2 win cons. Bigpokki completely lagging out, which is definitely a win con, as Niantic servers are pretty trash even at the best of times, or Bigpokki having a heart attack. Luckily, the heart attack didn't happen, as I've got this battle submission, and I'm pretty sure we don't lag out, as he probably would have cut this battle out, but let's see. Gligar isn't even an X-Scissor range. The wing attack knocks out Charger Bug. We send out Tentacruel. If the opponent wants that smoke, my god, is Tentacruel gonna give it to him. Swift will hit for neutral. Bigpokki calls the opponent gonna ice you in. Trainer, my god, just quit the match. Tentacruel farms up, finally unleashes the Scald, and finally gonna remove Wigglytuff from the field of play. Mr. Opponent, That was horrible. When you're in their matchups with an RPS team, recognise when you are on the wrong side of it and concede the match. In the next battle, we see Trevenant in the lead. The opponent save switches into Dugong, and here comes Gator. Even without Crunch, this is a pretty nice matchup for Gator, especially the Shadow variant. As the Shadow Claw damage is hitting for neutral, we're resisting the Ice Shard damage, and Hydro Cannon, being one of the very most busted moves in the game, still does some decent damage despite being resisted. Bigpokki farms up, fires off the next Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. The opponent looking to realign. Bigpokki can survive this drill run, but he's actually going to shield it up. Really wanting to keep alignment. Of course, Dugong and Ice and Water types of drill run doesn't get stabbed, so even if the opponent look to play their 2 shield out, they're still going to lose this battle. The opponent does want to play their 2s. We're actually going to see Bigpokki make a savage drill run catch, catching the drill run onto Gligar. What a mad lad. I did say earlier in the video, running a squishy triple shadow team, you do need to tank resisted charge moves where you can. But I was never expecting to see Gligar switched into Dugong, but that high risk, high reward play has come in clutch. Out comes Wall Rain, we land the dig, we send back out Gator, the opponent doesn't commit to an Earthquake, so we are going to survive this Icicle Sphere. I'm anticipating the opponent looking to snipe with Trevenant. Out comes Trevenant. Bigpokki, unfortunately, not going to pick up that one shot with the Ice Beam, but the Hydro Cannon chip damage will be very advantageous. Tentacruel, even in its shadow form, reasonably bulky. We are going to be able to survive this Shadow Ball, but the question is, can we Poison Jab down? It's going to be Poison Jab versus Shadow Claw. Tentacruel gets the Jab farm down, leaves with the Sludge Wave, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Gligar into Defense Deoxys. After a string of bad leads, the leads are getting somewhat better. The opponent opting to stay in, likely going for the Psycho Boost and Dip. That's a charge attack priority, so that is what the opponent's going for. We land the Night Slash, despite being super effective. It's kind of in Deoxys' name. Defense Deoxys, they are very thick. The opponent resets their debuff, sending out another bulky boy Licky, far too thicky. Next season, Defense Deoxys is ranked like 500th on Pvpoke, and Lickitung has also fallen from grace, so these bulky teams in the Great League hopefully will be no more. The opponent makes a mistake, allowing us to fire off the Scald before they unleash their energy. That's a mistake because Scald, of course, does have that 30% attack debuff chance. Bigpokki shields out the next Body Slam, looks for the Poison Jab farm down. Lickitung lives up to its name of being very thick, and Bigpokki now going to go down both Protect Shields in the mid game. I think earlier when we chipped and dipped was perhaps a better play. Back out comes Defense Deoxys. Tentacruel unleashes the first Scald. Scald goes unshielded, we then pivot back out into Gligar, drawing out Wiggles. Oh man, this looks rough. As long as we force some shields here, we could be alright. Okay, step 1, force the shield with a dig. We send back out Tentacruel. Scald should force the final shield. Can we Poison Jab him into Hydro Cannon range? Come on, get a couple more off. That's pretty close. However, the issue is we're going to get outpaced, and then we need to be mindful of the opponent making a catch. So what you do here is just pause, wait for the charm animation to start. When you see that charm animation start, fire off the Hydro Cannon. Is this enough to knock out? Okay, it's going to be Shadow Claw versus counter. Let's go, Gator. Let's go, Gator. Whew. We almost had an anxiety attack, but we get the job done. GG's, buddy. Ironically, in a matchup where we win a lead, that was one of our most difficult wins thus far in today's video. In the next battle, we see Shadow and Shadow Crime, Gligar into the Quagman. Most Quagsires, or essentially all Quagsires, do have Aqua Tail. The opponent goes for that chip and dip action, then send out Wigglytuff. In this scenario, I wouldn't fire off the dig. I would have just banked the energy and Poison Jab farmed all the way down. That banked energy on Gligar would have come in very clutch should we get realigned with this Quagsire later on. And also would have left more farm on Wigglytuff for Tentacruel to potentially reach 2 Scalds against the returning Quagsire. The opponent smartly throw their energy before the second Scald's reached. They're going to need to Stone Edge or of course Mud Bomb. That is 2 Mud Bomb Quags we've seen now. Looks like the meta is shifting back towards Mud Bomb. Perhaps next season when Mud Shot is less spammy, Mud Bomb might be the way to go, just so you've got a cheaper charge move. We send out Gator, fire off the Hydro Cannon on the CMP. The Hydro Cannon goes unshielded, and once again we see a tap Charmer in the back. The opponent looks for their charm down, farm down, but Gator says no, reaches the Hydro Cannon, which will be forcing the final Protect Shield. Gligar just needs to reach the dig, and this game is going to be signed, sealed and delivered. The opponent actually quit as the dig's reached, and the outcome is going to remain the same. In the next battle, we see the mirror. Bigpokki also told me when he sent me this battle submission, he likes Night Slash in the mirror because it gives you a clear pace and advantage. As usually when you see the mirror, it'll come down to a charge attack priority, who's going to win lead. The opponent fires off the aerial ace, Gligar, or our own Gligar I should say, returns fire with the Night Slash, forcing a Protect Shield. Unfortunately we don't get a boost, but Bigpokki is going to fire off the next one. We go 2 for 2 on no boost. However, if the opponent looks at that wing attack farm down, we will reach one further Night Slash. The opponent shows great knowledge of the count, catching onto Poliwrath, but Poliwrath in for a pretty bad time of it, as out comes Tentacruel. I'm sure 25 minutes into today's video, you know what I'm thinking, Tentacruel going to be a complete wall to Poliwrath. The opponent fires off the Icy Wind, we are going to need to Full Send a Sludge Wave to knock him out. Bigpokki actually makes a mistake, playing to the CMP tie, he does not win. Shout out Home Size Henry for that quote. We're actually going to shield up the next Icy Wind and go for a full undercharge. Well, not falls, we hit some bubbles. Bigpokki going to need to Poison Jab farm all the way, and it's going to be close. We just about got it. Just as the opponent reaches the next Icy Wind, back out comes Gligar. Our Tentacruel almost has 100 energy, but Bigpokki just going to sack the squid. We then send out Gator. Out comes Annihilate. Bigpokki continuing to farm up energy. He's actually going to shield up the first Night Slash, which is survivable. And if the opponent boosts, the second one would do objectively more. However, I do believe we've got a 1 Shadow Claw run and start. This is an IV dependent CMP. I cannot believe the opponent actually sacked that. Bit of a puzzle in play. They're putting all the hopes and dreams on the back of Gligar. Win con from here is going to be a fast move beatdown. The opponent can save that shield for next season. As we're going to emerge victorious, our own Gligar is still alive. Heading into the next battle, we see Venusaur on the lead. This is where we want to see it, although Tentacruel isn't too bad into grass types either, but Frenzy Plant would clap. The opponent makes a very nice catch, catches the Night Slash onto a Azumarill. Bigpokki stays in, banks a boatload of energy before sending out the squid. It looks like he attempted to return the catch, catching the Ice Beam onto Tentacruel. The opponent didn't throw, but regardless of what they throw, Tentacruel, the complete wall, which kind of is an ongoing theme of today's video, Tentacruel able to fully wall some top meta threats. The opponent fires off the Play Rough, which still doesn't get the job done. Tentacruel gets a massive Poison Jab farm down and leaves at 100 energy. The opponent could deny this energy. They want to send out Venusaur and throw instantly. The opponent sends back out Venusaur. They don't throw. We fire off the Scald. Again, we had the opportunity to land the Sludge Wave. Bigpokki playing it safe though, as 2 Scalds will essentially knock out. The opponent shields the second. We then go for the Wham Bam combo play. Fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash forces the final Protect Shield. We then play to the CMP tie. This is an easy shield from us, as Venusaur won't be able to switch out. This Night Slash will be picking up the knockout, and let's see what the opponent has in the back. I can't really think of a single Pokemon that's going to be able to solo our team down a Protect Shield. Out comes Metachan. What the hell is this? Like Season 3 or something. Bigpokki fires off the Dig lands for big damage. The opponent continuing to farm up energy, allowing Gligar to reach the departing Night Slash, which will pick up the dub, giving Gator another well-deserved rest on the bench, and we get another Super Saiyan boost. Has Bigpokki got a single boost in the battle when it's not a flex at the end game? I think not. In the next battle, we see Charjabug in the lead. The opponent throw 1 Volt Switch, then pivot out into a Azumarill. Again, we try the Ice Beam catch onto Tentacruel unsuccessfully. If you're at an ELO range where people think Azumarill is a good save switch, I highly recommend this squid, as the opponent is in such a miserable spot. This looks like one very, very XL Azumarill, as I don't think Bigpokki can Poison Jab farm all the way down, so I guess we just farm up to the double Scald. 1 Scald from this range will knock out, and then when Charjabug returns, the correct play is 1 Poison Jab, then the Scald, as Bigpokki does, as the Volt Switch won't register until turn 3. Scald goes unshielded. The opponent then snipe with their own Gator. Bigpokki can just mirror here, saving his Gligar for that Charjabug and keeping our own Gator well away from the electric type. That's what we do. We send out Gator. Bigpokki not messing around, going straight for the Hydro Cannon, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. I imagine here we're just going to give 1 shield to Gator, look to force the opponent's final Protect Shield. And as we're not switch locked, probably snipe with Gligar. Come on, Bigpokki, don't let me down. Let's go for that Wham Bam combo play. That's what we go for. Although I'm not sure Night Slash is the correct move. Perhaps Bigpokki forgot what side he digs on. Night Slash isn't lethal, but that next wing attack will be knocking out. So Bigpokki can just shield up this Hydro Cannon and the opponent has no win con. Back out comes Charger Bug and the opponent concedes the match. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we see Gligar into Feraligatr. We've seen this one play out before, so I'm anticipating 5 wing attacks and an attempted catch onto one of our back 2 water types. That is what we go for, and this time the opponent is an insta-throwing Andy, as my friend King GBL would say, spamming the Hydro Cannon as soon as they get it. The opponent is staying in, so I was kind of anticipating the opponent banking a Hydro Cannon and looking to return the catch. They actually spam another Hydro Cannon as soon as they get it. Bigpokki invests to protect shield before unleashing his own Hydro Cannon. Clearly the opponent doesn't have a great answer for Gator. Hopefully it's water they're fearful of and not our Shadow Claw damage. Although speaking of which, out comes Cresselia. Tentacruel could be pretty good into it. Holy cow, how small is that Cresselia? Tentacruel does do fine into Cresselia as long as they don't have Future Sight. Most run Moonblast in the Great League, but of course we've also got Night Slash on Gligar, so we opt to send that out. Bigpokki fires off the first Night Slash, which goes unshielded. Still we see no boost. Bigpokki then farms up, throws the next one on the CMP tie. The opponent is going to need to shield. If they want to get off this energy, the opponent just sack the world's smallest Cresselia and send back out Gator. It looks like Bigpokki putting all his hopes and dreams on the back of Squidward. Out comes Squidward. Can we jab farm down? It looks like the answer is yes. So the opponent forced to give up switch, sending out the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Bird of Death and Talonflame in for a rough day of it. Scold number 1 forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. This is going to be the easiest shield of Bigpokki's GBL career. The opponent goes to the Flame Charge bait, but no bait will be saving this opponent's fate. Scold easily going to remove Talonflame from the field of play, and one Poison Jab will knock out Gator, and we're going to take that game. Heading into the final battle of today's video, we see Shadow on Shadow Crime. Not particularly great for us, as Scold from a Shadow Mon will do almost all of our health. We see a very nice catch, catching the potential Scold onto Gator. The opponent does full send the Scold, and they get the attack drop, which is pretty rough. The opponent is going to fire off the Mud Bomb. We're going to see Bigpokki invest the Protect Shield as we're debuffed. I'm not even sure Hydro Cannon will knock out. I think it's going to be close, but I think the opponent will survive. Hydro Cannon gets them into the red. As they got the debuff, we're going to be unable to Shadow Claw farm down. We're actually going all in here on our Gator, looking to pick alignment in the back. I personally am always very reluctant to go down 2 Protect Shields to 0, especially this early into the battle. We force the first Protect Shield with the Hydro Cannon, despite being debuffed, then pivot out into the mirror. We fire off the Night Slash goes unshielded, and we get the boost. Okay, is the boost con going to be our win con? We fire off the next Night Slash, which goes unshielded, landing for massive damage. The opponent, like, this game's a joke, RNG also a joke, and they're going to concede the match. Huge shout out to Bigpokki for bringing us a very fun triple shadow team in the Open Great League. Firstly, I'd like to say good luck on that legend push, buddy. If you can get that remaining elo, that would be a huge 1400 elo climb with the same team, which will be insane. Speaking of which, if you're looking for a shadow team to climb with, give this one a try for yourself. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you'd like your battles featured on my channel. The link to our battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.